Hello, this is Malorian, and now this is going to be the fourth game of Warhammer'd, and it's now going to be my Orcs up against some Demons. So we're now on to the second day. I ended the first one with a 2-1 record, which is whatever. I mean, for having a soft army, I'm always trying to game and try and get more wins than I lose, so we're looking pretty good so far. And this is going to be one of the kind of really crazy missions. I mean, there's some ones where, I mean, sure, it doesn't change things too much, but this is one where it's really different than what you'd normally see. So basically, it's kind of a siege board where you have the whole castle and the siege machines and all this, but it's kind of going in the reverse way. So what you're actually trying to do is it's kind of like it's in the middle of the night and you're rushing out to destroy the war machines. So there you see them there. They're toughness 7, have a 5+ save, 6 wounds, and pretty much that's how you win. If you destroy 1, it's a minor win for their side. Destroy 2, a minor win for yourself. Destroy 3, and it's a major win. Destroy nothing, of course, a major win for the other guys. The thing is, too, is that in this one, you had to come to this tournament with a 2,994 point list and a 2,000 point list. So in this one, the people coming out of the castle are only going to get to use their 2,000 point list, but the people defending the war machines are actually, they're getting their 3,000, but they had to cut it in 2. So they divided in 2 forces. I get to pick which one starts on the board, and then rest comes in as reserves later on. So looking what I have here, at first I thought it was going to be really good in this, because I mean, wow, I got my black orcs that are strength 7, I got my war boss with a potion of strength, and then I pulled out my 2,000 point list and remembered neither of those are in there. So that's going to be a real problem. And so really what we're looking at here is I have Super Orc that's going to be going after the bottom war machine, the chariot and the wolves there, and the mangler squig just to try and deal with his flesh hounds. I got my spear guys there to try and block off whatever comes in as well. I got my general with the wizard hat and the shield orcs hoping to rush the center one. Then I got my savages on the other side trying to go after his bloodletters and then get that war machine. And then I also have my orc archers and my spider riders on the far side, and they're just really there to, when the reserves come in, to try and get into their way. And this is to kind of cover the rest of his stuff that's starting on. Of course, I said he has his little dog flesh whatever things down there. Then he has a cask of souls, because from the Storm of Magic he has a kind of a Tomb King contingent with it. Then he has, I think it's about like 30 or 40 horrors, and there's a herald in there that's a BSB, and then there's also the bloodletters and another herald that's in there. He has some pretty scary stuff coming on from the side, most important of which is a bloodletter, but I just want to get in there. Another thing is, because it's at night, you only can see as far as the number, whatever game turn it is, times d6 plus that game turn. So basically 1d6 plus 1 for the first turn, 2d6 plus 2 for the second, and so on and so on. So that's going to kind of slow down some charges and shooting for the first couple of turns, but then after that it's just going to be a combat mess. So by the mission I get first turn, have no animosity issues, and I'm just rushing on up. I could have probably gone closer with the wolves there, and now thinking back, I probably should have. At the time I was thinking I wanted to be out of line of sight for his magic and stuff coming back at me, but it turns out that the casket doesn't need line of sight anyway, so much for that. I got Super Orc over here. He's going to be charging this one war machine in such an angle that I should not be able to get countered, and yeah, I'm just running up. His turn 1, he has the Flesh Hounds that zip over to try and see my Super Orc. This was kind of a mistake, because not only will I not be there when I charge, but he's now shown me the flank to my chariot there. His magic is out of range. He's able to pull off his one, his Casket of Souls. It kills 2 of my Spider Riders and then stops, and that's pretty much it. My turn 2, I have Super Orc that goes into this one siege machine, does a few wounds. The chariot charges into the Flesh Hounds. Before combat, the Mangler Squig went through it, killed a bunch of them, and then I just popped the rest. The wolves running up to the casket to deal with it later. The Shield Orcs failed their charge. This spear knight goblins failed animosity, so they're farther back, and then my savages went into the bloodletters. And I knew this was going to be bloody each way, but I mean, I'm in horde. He's just, I think, 6 wide, maybe 7, so I thought I'd have the big advantage, but in the end, just did not do enough damage, and he's still around. The one nice thing, though, is that I charged my spiders into the top siege machine, and they're already plinking a few wounds off that. His turn 2, the only reserves he gets in is the big bloodthirster, and that's scary enough. And you have to randomly roll to see what board he comes in, and it's on this side over here, so that's, like I said, pretty scary. And at the end of the turn, it looks like this. I pretty much shut down his magic phase. I think maybe shot a few magical bolts at my shield orcs and killed a few there. But really just came down to the one combat there and just killing more of each other. And I mean, I just really need to get out of this combat so I can at least try and do some damage to that one siege machine before the bloodthirster wipes me out, but I just couldn't do it. My turn 3, Super Orc is messing up this siege machine even more. The Wolf Riders charge into the casket and are able to finish it off. It explodes, which kills some of my guys, but also damages his one siege machine there, so that's a nice little help. The Shield Orcs went into his horrors, and I thought this was going to be a pretty easy fight, but what happened is I issued a challenge to try and kill his BSB Herald, but he accepted it with the changeling. I didn't notice that it was there. And so, of course, this is going to be a dangerous thing. Luckily, this turn nothing happened. And then, more importantly, up in that combat over there, the Herald is left with 1 wound. So, I got stuck there. Whatever. I can't get away from that. I'm going to get a bloodthirster to the flank. But the only good news is that I have my spiders that are still plinking away wounds on the other one. His turn 3, he gets in 2 more of his reserve units. He has his other Tomb King skeleton unit that has his Hierophant and his Prince, and he also has his Demonette unit with the Herald. Luckily for me, I love the fact that they randomly came on this side because they can't get the Super Orc by the time I destroy this one, and then they're going to be kind of out of the action. And then on the other side, I get a Bloodthirster to the flank, and that's never good. So end of his turn, it looks like this. I did a real number on those horrors, and you know, of course, him rolling pretty high for crumbling really helped. So they're almost gone. My general has taken a wound so far, so that's not good. Was able to kill the Bloodletter Herald, and then luckily, because I was steadfast, and at that time was in range of my general, I held, and then I was able to reform to turn around and get a few more ranks and maybe get some wounds in. My turn 4, Super Orc has now destroyed the first siege machine and has overrun, as you see him there. I've moved up the 1 Wolf Rider in the chariot just to kind of deflect these 2 units away. My Night Goblins are into the middle siege machine, starting to plink off some wounds. I destroyed and popped that horror unit, and I have reformed to see this building, mainly because I thought his Bloodthirster was going to break me this turn, and then if he's going to charge me, it's better to be in the rear where my character is safe. But I was able to pass my Leadership 7 Steadfast test, and good news there. One thing that didn't help is that my Orc archers failed animosity, and the way that they were wheeled, they can't actually see the building, so I'm trying to get it so they can start charging in there, and you know, they can actually have a better chance of doing some damage because they have more attacks, but it's still up to my spiders, but to their credit, they're still doing some wounds. His turn 4, he kills my chaff units on the left, and his Bloodthirster finishes off my Savage Orcs. He also gets his last reserves, which are those little steed guys. There's no Herald in there, and they're threatening my spiders and trying to get them off the siege machine. My turn 5, and now on his last turn he cast the Tomb King spell where pretty much everything in range is difficult terrain and all this stuff, and so I charged in with Super Orc trying to do some damage on that 1 siege tower, failed to charge, he's fine, but then the Night Goblins had to charge in, and I mean they lost some to dangerous terrain. Yeah, what else happened here? Pretty much, my Orc archers flanked those steed guys of his, of Slaanesh, did fairly well. As you can see, there's only 1 of them left, so that's fantastic. And then my little spider guys trying to plank off a few more wounds. And at this point, I just really need to try and kill one more so I can at least get a win. So his turn 5, I now have a Bloodthirster in my flank, or my rear, but I don't really care because he can't kill anything of importance, and I'm just going to be steadfast for the whole game. And on the other side, I'm not able to kill this little demon. And then finally my turn 6, this is all that really matters. I couldn't charge in with my orcs on the right, so my spiders tried doing it themselves. I'd have to get pretty much perfect rolls. Didn't get it, but luckily on the left side, I got the Bloodthirster kicking my butt, but I'm able to get into the other siege machine and get the win. So, victory to the Orcs, and this was a fairly interesting game that I'm probably going to remember for a long time. I mean, my opponent did have some pretty bad luck. I mean, the way that his reserves came in and all that stuff, but it was a tough game to win. I mean, thank God I had Super Orc that had the ability to zip over and deal with that one war machine or siege machine and then come back. I really had expected my Savage Orcs just to blow through those bloodletters and then really deal with the one on the right as well. And I thought the middle one was going to be the iffy one, but things just changed so quickly when I just could not break through. And then, of course, once that Bloodthirster got to me, they were doomed. But a real fun game and a fun opponent, and now I'm 3-1 and looking pretty good.